Good morning and welcome to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. I am your host, Dr. Dale Laing-Hall. Thank you for being here today. Today we're covering part two of things that confident people do not do, or things that they do. Which one is it? One of those. Hold on, you guys. My camera's acting funky. Okay, here we go. I think we got it. You guys. So, hi, TikTok. Hi, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday. Today's August the 13th, 2025, about 8:15 in the morning. Welcome to A Glimpse of Growth. Oh my goodness. How are you guys feeling? How are you doing? I'm calm today. That's my emotion today. I'm calm. So today we're talking about confidence. Confident people keep the promises to themselves first, part two. And we're going to kind of list out some of the things that they do and some of the things that they don't. Last week we covered part one. So if you want to hear what part one sounded like, you're going to have to go listen and go listen. It's only about 30 minutes. It ain't that much. It's not that long. So sometimes you don't feel confident, and that's okay, right? We all have those moments when our inner family critic gets loud, right? When our body language shrinks and our energy dips, right? Confident people, confidence, I believe, isn't a constant state. So this is what I believe, right? My own experience. I don't believe it's as an ongoing constant state. I think it's a practice, right? And those moments when it feels like it's far away or you just can't tap into it, I feel like that's when you have to speak to yourself, right? You have to intentionally, powerfully, with compassion, speak to yourself. You know, it's like encouraging yourself when you ain't got nobody else there to speak to you. You ain't got nobody else there to encourage you. You have to encourage yourself. And that's what I believe confident is like. It's not something that is always there. I think it's something that you have to constantly practice. You have to constantly practice it. Um, and speaking to yourself isn't just about that positive affirmation ordeal. You're gonna have to believe it. You're gonna have to believe what you say, right? What Mahatma Gandhi said, your beliefs are your word. They turn into your words that eventually turn into your destiny. You will have what you believe. The Bible says it as well. The good book says it. It's about, I believe that, in this world today, if you don't have confidence or belief in yourself, to pick yourself up when things are going left or right or up or down, I mean, you don't have you because you don't always have people around you, right? You don't always have people around you to encourage you, to give you that spuns, that extra, layer of confidence to keep going. I believe that confidence is about constantly, when I said it was a practice, it's reminding yourself of the truth you've always known, that, you know, think about it, the truth that you can do this. This is meant for you. I mean, That's why you're there, right? Why are you there if you're not there to prove them wrong or to prove yourself that you can do this? Sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm not doing it for them or for you or for anybody else. I'm doing it for me. And before I even decide to do it, I have to tap into my, get rid of my, I said in the beginning, the inner critic that you have up here. And I speak about them so much. I just did a talk over there with a 6 week course on the Hillman with Hillman Talk University, free of charge. And um, one of the weeks that we covered was your inner critic, and I call them your family members. They're your family members, or sometimes they say things that you don't want to hear, and sometimes they say things that you do want to hear. So you got to tap into all of that and figure out, why did it bother you? That's what emotional intelligence, intelligent emotions, not letting your emotions to get ahead of you or to take control of how you show up every day. And that's easier said than done. You know what I mean? That's that's some serious stuff, right? Especially when the person or the persons that said whatever they said, that did whatever they did, it really hurts you, you know. And it's not an easy thing, but it's not an impossible thing either, because you have survived it, right? More than you have survived more than you thought you could. I mean, you're here, aren't you? You've accomplished things that once scared you, right? And then you did it anyway. You overcame it. You accomplished things that you didn't think that you ever could. And maybe at the point in time you were like me, that you thought you were doing it for somebody else. I'm going to do it for my kids. I'm going to do it for my mom and my dad and my husband and my boyfriend, and I'm going to show them and that I can do this. But then eventually you found out that you needed to do it for yourself, right? So you walked into rooms and conversations where you never thought that you would have been a part of, but you're there, right? That's not luck. That's not by chance. That's not you overcoming this a hard conversation, or that person did so much to you and you thought it was going to break you, but they didn't. You're still here. You did it. You did it. That's you. That's not them. That's you tapping into your inner confidence, your inner power. And that's what emotional intelligence is all about, is seeing yourself for who you really are, recognizing your blind spots, and then going full force with them, right? And then, make whatever changes you need to make along the way, whatever that looks like. Confidence is about never feeling, it's not I don't think it's about never ever feeling fear. I mean, come on now. Never feeling fear? No, I don't think it's that. It's not absence of fear. It's about, I think it's letting your fear know, hey, I see you and I will overcome you, right? Right? Because that's a part of the process, right? Letting fear know that you do have that confidence to do that, and you can do this, right? You can push through this, right? Because it's not going to be forever. It's just for this short period of time. I know that we sometimes are, we're in this society where we constantly want to get things quickly, want it now, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now, and in this popcorn society. And yes, I agree, I'm with you, I'm human too, and I want that too, and sometimes that's okay. But Have you realized that the things that are worth loving and waiting for, you got it, they're gonna need a little bit more time. They're gonna need a little bit more time, you know. So hi Lillian, thanks for popping in, my love. Sometimes you're gonna need to give them a little bit more time to unravel, right? And to develop you yourself. Give yourself a little bit more time to get a hang of this, right? You're not gonna get a hang of this, on day one. I mean, you can, but all people don't always get a hang of, this new job or this new role or this new endeavor, something you've never done before. You're gonna just jump in, from day one running. Sometimes that's not the case, right? And you got to be okay with that. Don't in addition to this confident people keep promises to themselves first. It's, I'm talking about you. I think we get caught up in, looking at what everybody else is doing, and gosh, it's you're doing we do ourselves such disservice when we start looking at what other people have and what they're doing. You're doing yourself such a disservice. Such a disservice. Why? Because you don't know what it took them to get there. You don't know what it cost them. And I'm not saying cost them in terms of, oh, maybe they really had to put in all the time. Sometimes so maybe that's not their case, right? Maybe they had it handed to them. But if that's the case, you're going to have to realize that one way or the other, I believe that the universe, I believe that one way or the other, things always balance themselves out, right? If Because they say that with great power comes great responsibility. So whatever their responsibility with that huge role or that huge amount of wealth or huge position or whatever it is that they have, with that comes a responsibility. And it may look fun on the outside, but ooh, ooh, you got to be able to take care of it once you have it. And if you're not taking care of it, it's not going to last. Sometimes if we really had a microscope and had opportunity to look deep in detail into other people's lives and see what they got, how they got it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, no, Lord, you can let them keep that. I'm going to stay with my little crosses. My little crosses. I'll keep them. So you need to talk to yourself, right? That's my alarm, you guys. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend, like you're encouraging a friend. Those words that you telling your friend, you need to tell them to yourself, right? You need to give those pat talk to yourself. That's what confident people do. You're about to go, a big opportunity, and that's that advice you're giving your friend. Give it to yourself. Remind yourself of your wins. I have a list of things that I have done, that I have overcome for years. Every single time I have a win, small, medium, big, large, it don't matter. I make a list. I add it to the list, right? And I go back and I read that list from time to time because it reminds me that this next challenge that I have in front of me in these next couple of months, it's not it's not it's not small potatoes. And just like the one that I accomplished 3 months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, I can do this, right? and you tap into your inner confidence, right? Because you're not always going to have someone to kind of give you that pep talk. You're not. So then what do? Right? You need to have to talk to yourself. Because here's the thing, the voice you hear most in your life is your own. You thought about that? The person that you either have lied to the most and the person that you have heard the most in your life is your own voice. What are you saying up here? So if you've been on this earth for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, analyze, do a introspection, do some reflection time, sit with yourself and ask yourself, see what tally, what when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? So if that voice is constantly tearing you down or reliving, you know, things that are not pleasant, constantly reliving it, they say that human beings, research shows that we spend more than 80% of our time in two places, either in the future or in the past, while we're living in the present. I'll let you think about that a little bit. We are here in the present, and the most of our thinking, tally it. Just try it. Analyze for a week. Do a tracker and tally your thoughts and see what your thoughts are telling you about you. See what your inner critic is telling your confident self, right? Because if that voice is rooting for you, let's go. I'm not saying that you're never going to think that, nothing unpleasant or negative or anything. I'm saying you need to see what are you listening to 80% of the time, that 80-20 rule. Because the notion where that 20%, that 80%, it's affecting and it has more impact than that 20%, right? So even when you feel shaky, you're not sure on your next move and what you're going to do, you need to figure out within yourself, are you building an ally inside of you, or building are you building a relationship with someone that is your enemy? What are you telling yourself, right? Because it will help you. You're going to decipher whether or not you're going to stand tall. When are you going to? It's going to help you to speak clearer. It's going to help you to show up bolder, right? Once you know who you are and what you're telling yourself. So today, I want you to do this before you walk into that meeting, before you walk into that conversation, before you send that proposal, or before you step on that stage or that message that you're going to send. I want you to pause. And you're not feeling sure about it, I want you to pause. I want you to look into a mirror, get the camera if you have your phone in your hand, and look at yourself and tell yourself, I am prepared. I can do this. I can have this conversation. I am worthy. I am capable of this. Say it out loud. Say it like you mean it. Say it with your chest. Kevin Hart would say. And then go show the world, go show them who you are and who you're becoming. You are allowed to be both powerful, and becoming. You can be powerful in this moment right now and stand tall, 10 toes down with your confidence, and still becoming, developing, right? Right? Because your story, your timing, your truth, it's all sacred. And you can be messy all at the same time. And nothing is wrong with that. Absolutely nothing is wrong with that. So here's a quick so we're about 15, 20 minutes in. Let me address the, is it seven? I think it's seven things that confident people do or do not do. So I wanted to start with that to let you to kind of talk a little bit about confidence, and then let me tell you what confident people, seven things you're confident. If you're a confident person, you should be doing these, right? You should know your values. You should know your values, and you should stick to them. You make decisions. Every decision that you make align with your core beliefs. Remember I said in the beginning, what you believe is what you will have. Mahatma Gandhi said the same thing, countless others. Even when it's uncomfortable, confidence is clarity in motion, right? Sometimes you have to tell somebody no so that you can tell yourself yes. And that's you believing and trusting in your inner confidence enough to say, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, or this is not aligned with who I am, so I am not doing this. That's sometimes that's a hard conversation to have with someone, right? But you're gonna have to do it. You should do it, right? Do you honor you just as much, right? Honor your no's just as much as you honor your yes, right? So that's number one. Number two, you're not afraid to say, I don't know. You don't always know it. You don't always have all the answers. Confident people don't know it all. Confident people don't fear gaps in knowledge. They embrace them as opportunities to learn and to grow. I was doing a 6 week, was it a 6 week? I think it was a 6 week course on HR certification. And one of the professors that I had in there, a student asked a question and she didn't know the answer. And she wasn't uncomfortable. Afterwards, I talked to her. I said, thought you would have got a little funky about that. She's like, no. She's like, it's okay to be completely vulnerable and completely honest and say, I really don't know the answer to that, but I can find out and get back to you. And she was completely okay with that. The wise person knows you don't know anything. If you watch Game of Thrones, they say Jon Snow, you know nothing, Jon Snow. I love that. I love that phrase. Socrates said it. He said the wise man knows nothing. He knows nothing. Because the day, even Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, he didn't know it all. He didn't. You don't have to know it all. What you can do is what you don't know. If that's a part of what you want to know, then you find out about it. You research about it, right? You read about it, right? So you're not afraid to say, I don't know. Number three, you can celebrate others without dining, without dimming, without dimming your own light. I know, I know, I know this is a funky one. You can uplift others genuinely, because their shine doesn't threaten yours. You can. It's okay. It's quite okay. You can do both. right? And sometimes what I tell my clients them is that if you feel like you're envious or jealous of someone, don't shy away from that. Don't be mad and pretend that you're not. Find out why you are. Remember, jealousy, enviousness, those are all emotions, right? And we're talking about, that things that confident people do. Confident people keep promises to themselves first, right? And if you're envious of someone, if you're jealous of someone, you need to sit with that. I know it's probably not a good feeling, or you don't, you sit with it. Sit with it and find out why. Oh, I'm jealous of her because she has that car that I like. So it's not really about her, it's about what she has that I want. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to own it, right? And then once you get to the nitty gritty, then if you want a car like that, you know what you have to do. Just continue to work and do, working on your stuff, and eventually you'll get it. But don't push people away or pretend that that emotion is not there because um, it's not a good feel. It's not a good emotion to have. So you pretend that you don't feel that way. You gotta remember, emotional intelligence is all about leaning in. Number 4, you're open to feedback without taking it personally. Dr. Dale, you just slapped me. You don't crumble when someone gives you a constructive criticism. You process it, you learn from it, and you grow. You process it, you learn from it, and you grow. Right? I said constructive. And make sure the person that's giving you that feedback is someone that you know, that you like, and that you trust. Because if they're not those things, then you're going to have to reassess whatever that person is telling you. Because you can't take advice from every single any I mean, my family would say any Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street. You just can't, right? Because if you do, you imagine, I think you should change that shirt today. Oh, stranger told you that. Let's go back inside the house and change that shirt. I think you should buy another car. With what? I mean, you can't. Right? So confidence and humility equals power. You show up authentically. You don't wear a mask. That's number 5. Showing up authentically does not mean you show up and you give up all your secrets. Can I just say that? Can I say that? Can I say that? We're saying it. We're saying it. Yes, of course we're saying it. You don't wear a mask. You don't wear a mask to be accepted, right? And you don't just dish out all of your privacy. You lead with truth. Even if your voice is shaking and you have to analyze what you want to share, you don't just like all of that out there. No. And don't shrink yourself. Don't perform or put up a show, you know for others if it's not you. If it's not you. For years it took me such a long time to, in the workplace, to show up as my authentic self. It took me so long to do that. And I really wished that I had known that I could have, that I was had been around enough people to know that I could tap into my own inner confidence, right? And to own that, right? For years, I just pretended, and put on a show for other people, and it wasn't fun. I hated it. When you're showing up for anybody else, not yourself, it's funky. It sucks. Right? It sucks. And it's not fun. Hey, look at you. I'll see you next week. They stopped in and she said, "You don't hide your true self behind a mask." Yeah, 100%. Definitely easier said than done, right? Because we're looking at what everybody else is putting out there and they look perfect. Can we just stop? I said it in the beginning. You don't know what it took them to get what they got. And the thing about it is that if we were to put a microscope and figure it out and see, would you want to pay the price? Would you want to pay the price? What is the story? There's a story with I don't know if it's a folklore or something, but there's a story with this guy that was complaining to God, and he was complaining and complaining and telling God, "You're just sending me too many trials, too many problems. I can't take it anymore." And God said, "All right." I mean, and he's like, "If you could just give me, I think there's just give me some lighter load." And God sent him to he sent him to a room, and he's like, if you can find a cross lighter than yours, you can have it. Because this story that I'm talking about, this folklore, something I heard way back when, that he went into that room, and he's like, because he's walking around with this cross on his back, and he feels like this cross that he has is too much. It's too much, God. Like, you're sending me all of these problems and trials and temptations, and I'm just done. So God sent him inside this room, and he told him if he can find a cross lighter than his, he can have it. And Buddy is looking, he is looking, he is looking, and he's seeing some huge crosses, some huge crosses. And he comes to a realization, something, God. All of the crosses in the room that he was in was bigger than his. And he told God, "You know what? I'll keep the cross that I got. Thanks for looking out. Thanks for looking out." So that you don't know what the conversation, you don't know what people are going through to get what they got, right? So do the right thing and just wait your turn. And stop looking at what everybody else have, right? And just show up as your best self, right? um the Bible says as well, in due time you will have, right? You will be. And the beautiful thing about, as you're growing and becoming that better version of you, if you're in your healing process, the person that you are becoming is the person that you fall in love with. You fall in love with yourself all over again. And I don't mean in a conceited way, like, with getting a big head or anything like that. I mean that you are understanding, you are getting to know yourself all over again, because now you are growing, right? You are developing parts of your brain and your actions and your behaviors that you didn't before. Number 6, you can sit with discomfort. Confident people, they don't mind sitting with discomfort. They sit with inside. In the beginning of this conversation, I said, analyze your emotions. Why are they showing up? Right? Sit with them. Be silent with them. Sit with it means exactly that. Sit down Go for a walk and analyze why you feel the way that you feel, or why that person said something that bothered you. Why did it bother you? Whether that person was right in saying what they were saying, that's not the conversation. The conversation is, why did you let it bother you? That's the real conversation. Don't look at what the other person, because people are always going to do and say and be. What are you, why did you respond that way? Right? You don't rush to escape that discomfort. You lean in, right? That's what emotional regulation is. It's confidence in action, right? It's confidence in action. And number 7, last but not least, you're a work in progress, and that's enough. Confidence doesn't mean perfection. Please stop thinking that you're going to have confidence 24/7. You have to constantly tap into that, and it's always becoming. It means embracing your evolution, embracing your growth, right? And that's what confidence is. That's what confident people do, right? And to run down the list right quick again, confident people, you know your values and you stick to them. You're not afraid to say, I don't know. You can celebrate other people and not dim your own light. You are open to feedback without taking it personally from people that you know, like, and trust. You show up authentically, right? You can sit with discomfort. And lastly, you know you're a work in progress, and that's quite okay. When, where in your life, I'm gonna leave you guys with this question: where in your life are you already showing up with quiet confidence and not giving yourself enough credit for it? Where is it? When it's time for you to do that presentation? Is it when you said you wanted to start that business and you haven't, like, or you, when somebody's speaking in a conversation, you don't have anything to say back, you're allowing them to tell you what you think, what you want, who you are, what you are becoming? Where is it that you're just giving up your power? And that's the conversation I'm going to leave you with. That's the question. All right, next week I'm going to have an amazing guest, my wonderful peer and friend. And so come back next week. The conversation is from your purpose, it's from the boardroom to your purpose, or something like that. It's going to be fun. So I'll be back here with you guys then, next week, Wednesday. Thank you for joining A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. And the podcast is simply about workplace conversations, all things HR, employee, from the employee perspective, from the employer perspective, here with over 15 years of experience as an um, HR professional. And Dale Reports is all about executive coaching, leadership development, and all things HR services, right? So this conversation, A Glimpse of Growth, it's simply that it's a reminder for you, for me, for us, that we don't have to grow exponentially. We can, but if you feel overwhelmed with life, and if you just take one medicine, one thing that you're going to do every day, that's growth. Every week, that's growth, right? So that's what A Glimpse of Growth podcast is all about. And the reflection question again is, where in your life are you not showing up as your confident, authentic self? And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? So Thank you guys for listening. This was awesome as usual. I love these conversations to kind of pour back into you guys. It's going on 2 years that we've been here, and I just added TikTok, I think, this year. I've been on all of the podcasts, all of the social media, all of the other social media, but we added TikTok this year, and it's been fun. It's been fun. I'm gonna start adding like guests and stuff as I have a discussion, so we can talk here as well on TikTok. So give me a few to kind of figure that out. Thank you guys for joining and for being a part of this conversation. And I'll see you guys next week for another episode on A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale.
Thank you for being here and supporting this channel. If you enjoyed this episode and this content, it would mean a lot to me if you would take a few seconds to ensure you are subscribed to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Click the notification bell to receive notification. Share it with someone you think may need it. And let's continue to become more intelligent with our emotions. Thank you. See you later.